What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday. I hope you guys have all been enjoying your weekend, but I just wanted to go ahead and make a quick video to provide you guys with an update and let you guys know what's going on in the market next week. And so if you guys are not aware, on Wednesday, the Federal Reserve does plan on raising interest rates yet again, right? As you guys can see from this article. So on February 1st, right, this Wednesday, they plan on raising it by 0.25 percentage points this time. If you guys have been keeping up, right, the past few times they have raised it by about a half percentage point hike. And so now the expectations are that it is a little bit less aggressive, right? So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But in terms of what can actually happen, right, even the article states there's a reasonable chance that, it ends up being higher than expected. And so it's super important to be keeping up with these inflation reports because of the fact that they can shift the market, right, either positively or negatively depending on the news that gets reported. And so if we're expecting a 0.25 percentage point rate hike and it ends up being more than that, right, then you can probably expect the market to react negatively, right? Because that means that the Federal Reserve is still being aggressive, right? That they're not being less aggressive with their rate hikes. And but just because, something comes out more than expected doesn't necessarily mean the market has to react negatively. It just means that in the past it's tended to, right? But for all we know, it can have a positive reaction to the market even if it is higher than expected. Is that likely though? Not really. But so as I mentioned, if it's higher than 0.25 percentage points, we can expect the market to probably react negatively. If it's at 0.25 percentage points or greater or less, my apologies, then the market can potentially react positively, right? So one thing we do need to keep in mind is that we are very overextended on the long term, right? With the Nasdaq, we've been rallying nicely, and so if the news were to come out positive, in my opinion, I feel that the market is already so overbought that it wouldn't necessarily have the craziest reaction, right? We're already priced into the market a bit at these levels, so but on the other hand, if the news were to end up being negative, I think that could be the negative catalyst we need to potentially break below the EMA and start pulling on back, right? So we obviously still have Monday and Tuesday of trading to see what happens, where direction really wants to go. But Wednesday will be a very big and important day. And I believe the report comes out at 2 p.m. Eastern Time or 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right? So pretty much if you go tune in to that time, you will be able to see the market react live itself, right? Either whether that be positively or negatively. But one thing you really want to ask ourselves, or we all really want to ask ourselves, is why does inflation even really matter, right? A lot of people may not really know how it necessarily impacts their day-to-day life. And so I found a really interesting article that I wanted to share with you guys. So if I just pull it up here, what you guys will see, right, is where how it pretty much impacts the market. They gave you a nice little scenario here, right? So let's look at how this applies to 1% increase in Fed fund rate, right? So for example, take a family shopping around for a $300,000 30-year fixed rate mortgage, right? So if banks were offering them an interest rate of 3.5%, the total lifetime cost of the mortgage would be approximately 485K, right? With nearly 185K of that accounting for interest charges. So their monthly payments would be at around $1,340. Now it says, let's say the Fed had raised interest rates by 1% before the family got a loan, right? Say, right, this meeting's coming out, as I mentioned on Wednesday, boom, they raised it 1% in this hypothetical scenario, right? What would happen? So if they raise it by 1% and the interest rate offered by banks for a 300K home mortgage rose, right, the loan rose to 4.5%. Over the 30-year life of the loan, the family would pay a total of more than $547,000, with interest charges accounting for $247,000 of that amount. So their monthly mortgage payment would be approximately $1,520. Just imagine, right, that happening to you. Just that price difference alone is crazy. Imagine going from paying $1,340 a month to $1,520. You're pretty much spending an extra $200 that you could have spent on groceries or gas or anything else that you might need, right? Just because of that interest rate hike right before you got that loan. So this just goes to show how important or how much of an effect, right, this can have on our day-to-day life, raising these interest rates. And so that's why it's important to stay up to date with it, right? Just to see in terms of where we're at with the market and what's pretty much going on. And so because of the fact that in this scenario, right, it really just shows the effects of raising interest rates. And that's why as interest rates rise, right, the goal is to get people to start spending less money, right? Because they know that prices may go down in the future eventually. And so it may just be wiser to stay cash and, or maybe take part in that interest, right? That high interest, make your money work for you rather than take on a loan and be incurring a higher interest rate. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover in today's video. I just wanted to make you guys a little bit more aware of how, big inflation and interest rates are and just how much they affect our day-to-day life, and we may not even realize it, right? Just how big of an effect they may have. But I hope you guys all learned something new and found that interesting. I definitely did. But if you guys have any questions on this article at all or anything stock related, go ahead and drop a comment and I will be more than happy to answer it. But other than that, if you are new, we really do appreciate you dropping a like and subscribing. It really helps us out a lot. But that's pretty much everything. We plan on trading tomorrow and we will be posting a recap on the channel. So we hope to see you guys then. I hope you have the good rest of your Sunday night and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.